Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue our special edition of well-wishing expressions in Chinese because it's a new year and people tend to wish each other besides Happy New Year or 恭喜发财 that we all know about. There are multitudes of ways to express the joyful and hopeful beginning of the year. Okay, 烟花朵朵迎新春 because okay, yesterday we have 爆竹声声辞旧岁. It's about using firecrackers to bomb it, not bomb it, but make loud sounds to crack the old year away. And this is the second half of it that says 烟花, which is Chinese fireworks. Chinese use flower, this smoky flower, to depict fireworks. Again, it's the poetic sense of Chinese. Cannot help it. That's 烟花朵朵. Just like flowers, we use we count bubbles of flowers. Is it called a bubble? Bulbs of flowers or petals of flowers. Either it's bloomed or in a bulb shape. We use 朵 as the count of flower. So 朵朵 used to depict this firework, flowery, blooming in the sky, to visually depict that. 迎新春, so this is seeing the new year, welcoming the new spring. So the whole lengthy way, you see, this is a 7-character expression. Normally people use that, pen it down, and put it on the door frame. So these are door framers, well-wishing expressions on the door frames. And they have to kind of be symmetrical. So when we have whatever language structure, if you have a noun in the first 2 characters, on the second half, you have to have the same thing. It's kind of a call and response. And then when you say goodbye to the last year, now you have to welcome the new year, but you cannot say the year again. You have to, in this case, the Chinese is very strict. You cannot reuse the same character. You have to switch it out, which is spring in this case. I mean, of course, the year starts with spring. There's no logic error in that, but it serves the purpose of switching out the character. It's something else now. Okay. 烟花朵朵迎新春 simply depicts we are using fireworks to welcome the new year. We're using firecrackers to send away the old year. Okay. 烟花. Again, we have just like a 爆竹 with the fire symbol on the left side. Okay. Body of the fire, sparkles of fire, basic structure of the fire. Okay. The here, you see it looks very different. So simplified Chinese got a certain way of abstraction that sometimes it doesn't preserve its original meaning and visual cues anymore. So when I look at this, doesn't really make much sense to me. But when I look at this, oh, I can make up a story. I can explain to myself what that means. Here, it means the West. The West, because this is a tree branch, kind of a twist turn, tree branch with bird nest hanging off the tree branch. Together, they form a picture of bird's nest hanging there that signifies time when birds return to the nest. We all know that time of the day when the sun is setting, the birds start to chirping, and that's the moment when they are flying back to the nest. And that signifies the sun setting time. That signifies the dinner cooking time. Okay, so we have the soil symbol underneath that. I guess Chinese, back then, the kitchen, it was not like a contemporary, just gas stove turn on off kitchen. Cooking in itself was a huge deal back then, like quite an endeavor, as we all can imagine, right? Without a gas stove, the fire was not easily got. You have to have the fuel picked somewhere, gathered, and then you have to have the fire building. You have to fan the fire. You have all kinds of smokes going out, right? That's why it's smoke. But this depicts, the soil symbol depicts the kind of a stove structure that's built from the soil. I mean, back then I would imagine the precious metals, not just metal, not just precious metal, that's gold, silver, but just metal itself, mostly used for either cookware that can endure high heat or weaponry, right? And for the structure that's holding cookware on top of the fire, for that holding structure, it might as well be built from soil. So therefore, we have the soil symbol to signify kitchen. And this is the timing, the sun setting, dinner making time. And with the fire, that signified the whole thing, create a picture to depict that's the time when families are cooking. And it was not a gas stove, okay? It was really fire making event in many, many households. And then build a fire, and you can imagine the smoke from all that cooking, hanging above the village or town, right? So that's how the smoke got its origin. It's this synchronized the cooking time. Okay, hua means flower. It came with this trident-looking thing. Two of them means plant-based. Just like here, spring, we use plant to define spring. And then this looking thing, 2 layers, that means petals of flower. And this kind of a straw from your soft drink cup, this signifies the pollen pole of the flower. So the petals next to the pollen pole, right? That's the flowering, essential flowering structures, right? So the petals and the pollen pole, and it's plant related. And the bottom simply is, it's not exactly related, but it's about speaking. Your air coming out of your pipe, and then you have 2 horizontal lines. One is a blocker, and the second layer is going out to the world. So this is a sound making process. And Chinese use that to mean almost like your airflow or your energy flow or your message or communication flow. So it was a very wide spectrum character that paired with a flower. That's almost like the flower's language, or flower's reproductive flow of their energy, flow of their genes. There is this flowing, carry on sense of carry on. So the whole picture signifies the flower is plant-based. This is how flower looks with the petals and the pollen pole, and it's the flow of their energy or their genes. Okay, duo duo, we have the tree symbol, which is canopy of a tree, root of a tree connected by the trunk. And then here is kind of like a whip, because it has this soft twist turning shape and a pretty stiff edge. So that was an ancient time whip. It can be flocked onto another human being as slave owners to slave. Sorry about that, but language wise, we do see that. Or somebody holding that against a tree to knock the fruit or flowers down. It doesn't really make sense to knock the flowers down, right? It's more making sense to knock the fruits down. So by that, it's an indirect way to say, okay, this is a tree already full of fruits, and use that as a deduction of, okay, before fruits is flower, right? So this becomes the depiction of a unit of measurement of flower. And we use this same unit of measurement to depict cloud. So in this case, 烟花朵朵 is double matched because it is depicting a regular flower, but it also depicting this flower opening in the sky as a firework. And because 朵 can also be used on cloud, which is in the sky. So even matching the flower in the sky, it's super appropriate. So this is double matching. Good choice of character. 朵朵迎, okay, 迎 we have this foot symbol with 3 footsteps. Together it means walking. And then we have this person facing another person. So this person is standing, the other person is kneeling, sitting on the feet. So that facing each other plus the walking sign means you are walking toward each other. And I guess in this case, because one of them is sitting on the heels, right? So for that person, it's impossible to walk. So it must be the standing person that's walking toward this sitting on the heel person. And this walking toward each other eventually becomes welcome, because I guess if you're walking toward somebody, you must be trying to engage in that person. Therefore, it's welcoming them, right? Okay. 新春, 新, we have copper punishment tool, which is 2 horizontal lines, convex, convex connected by 1 vertical line. Actually, convex, convex, and one horizontal line connected by vertical line. So it's a 3 layer stacked and capped with 2 horizontal lines. Quite complicated. I haven't seen the copper punishment tool yet, so I cannot tell you exactly how each part are representing a physical world, what kind of tool. But overall, scholars said it again and again, this is copper punishment tool. And then the bottom is the wood symbol, looks just like this wood symbol or tree symbol. Canopy, root, trunk. Together, well, with the right side means axe symbol. And axe symbol is showing you the result of the action or the consequence of axing, which is chop off a big chunk from this log. So this is the log of the original, well, I guess it's a chopped off shape. So there is the separation. You can almost see here is a separation from here. They match exactly on this border, right? So that means some chopping is done by showing you the result of chopping. Okay, so chopping wood, copper punishment tool together, it means newly built wooden copper punishment tool. Okay, eventually all that historical context wiped out. We just newly new. Okay, so that becomes a new. 春, we have ground level, and this ground breaking plant with its root twisting, and then just a tiny little bit of, tip going above the ground level. And then you can see the 2 other, like almost like 2 arms, this trident shape that's breaking through the ground, that's growing, but they are not exactly matched, right? It doesn't look like it's reaching, because there is a kind of a turn. It's not a direct matching up. So I would argue this 2 trident looking thing, just like this 2 trident looking thing, together, the pair together means something plant-based. And then we have this visual of this particular plant still in its baby form, still just barely break it through the ground. And then with 2 other parts of the same plant, because this is a trident looking thing, right? Eventually the whole thing will be above ground. But at this particular moment, it just have one, the tallest part breaking through the ground. The other 2 are still underground. So the whole image over there is depicting the early ground breaking moment of the plant. So that means the plant was still young. It's still young. It's not growing tall yet. Plus the sun symbol. So this sphere with 1 horizontal line signifying the energy from the sphere. That's the sun symbol. The sun, early ground breaking plant symbol, plus this plant-based thing together, it means the time. That's barely the ground breaking for plants of the year, with the sun, beaming on them. That's the time when they're supposed to grow. And that signifies the springtime, the season. Okay, so 烟花朵朵迎新春 is the second half of 爆竹声声辞旧岁. It's a Chinese way to say we're using fireworks to welcome the new. And I'm too lazy to spell out welcome the new. I just firework the new, firecrack the old. Okay, and here is a picture of some random city in China, and there are high rises. I want to point out, like Chinese are so used to living in high-rises apartment buildings that when it comes to America, once things are so flat for most of the suburb style of housing, they got perplexed. Like, imagined first world countries are high rises, but it's on the contrary, contrary to that. So these are highly decorated, I guess, evening show to light up the building to show it's a special time of the year, or maybe year round they do that, but definitely fireworks are the way to celebrate in China as well, to welcome the new year. And I just want to show you, it does look like a flower, right? So Chinese put this poetic way to say smoke flower is Chinese expression of fireworks. All right, cash into the currency of thinking about what a day with Sophie. See you another day.